X28 going OMNI-CHAIN may be the biggest bullish catalyst for long-term price appreciation in the Titan X ecosystem. Now, for those who don't know, X28, I'm sure everyone watching this video does know, but there may be some who don't. X28 is a one-to-one, think of it like a copy of Titan X that was created on Ethereum. Okay, so Titan X is the base currency in this respect, and X28 is a one-to-one copy that has the ability to go from Ethereum to other chains. Okay, now I'm gonna focus today on a reason for why it's bullish, but that it's based. So I'm not going to talk about the tokenomics in detail and bring out these diagrams like I usually do. I'm going to go for a slightly different approach today. And those of you who do watch my streams or have watched even just one of my streams and managed to, catch me saying this, I'm going to make an analogy that I've made on my streams before. Okay, so if you have watched that stuff, you will know exactly what I'm going to talk about now. And perhaps some of the founders who I've streamed with may know exactly what I'm about to bring up. I'm not going to focus on tokenomics, like I said. So I'm going to bring up this analogy, and the analogy is related to the Roman Empire. You might think, Jukes, what has the Roman Empire got to do with, X28 going to base and price gains like 10x's, 100x's? What's it got to do with this? Guys, it's an analogy. The Roman Empire was the most dominant and successful empire for numerous amounts of years. It provided safety to its citizens, and it dominated the landscape from a political perspective, right? Obviously, from a geographical perspective, it dominated. Even the country I'm in, Great Britain, was previously a colonial project of the Roman Empire, right? Now, when me and you think about this, we just think, well, obviously, Roman Empire, they must have had better men, right? Like the men must have been bigger, stronger. They must have had some genius tactics, military tactics, or they must have had just some technology that no one else had. They must have had the nuclear bomb of their time, right? Whatever that would have been, an extra long sword, maybe. Good tactics, and they had good defensive structures. When you look at them from a military perspective and offensive structures as well, that wasn't really the main driving point behind their success. So getting that out of the way, they weren't successful because of the men or the weapons or the tactics from a military tactics perspective. Okay, their military tactics, their weapons, their men, it was all pretty much the same as everyone else of their time. What set them apart and what allowed them to grow and what allowed them to conquer and become the empire that they became was because of the mindset of essentially the people, right? They had a different philosophy from almost a sociological, societal perspective. It was different to everyone else of their time. So back then, when two tribes went to war, when one tribe conquered another tribe, the first tribe that conquered the second one, they would kill all the men and take the women and children as captives. This is how people functioned back then. This was the standard practice because they considered those men to be a threat. So we must kill them, finish them off. We'll take their women and we'll take their children. What the Roman Empire did is they fundamentally changed this. They said, if we've defeated you, we've militarily defeated you on the battlefield, we're not going to kill the remaining men or the remaining soldiers. We're going to offer you the ability to join our ranks and become a citizen in the Roman Empire and become a member of our own armies. This is a really fundamentally different perspective. I mean, it's actually, even today, politically, these types of conversations come back in, right? With conquest and people talk about these things, even today. So this is how radical they were back then. It was a radical thing to introduce. But it was few more men into their armies and then into their ranks and into their society. Now they went from being just a mere tribe to being almost like a collection of tribes. So when they go to war and they go to conquer another land, what happens when they lose? Well, also have another one they can send. They lose that one. They then have an. You know what I mean? The army. Eventually, it's a war of attrition. The enemy forces will be overdone, and they know in their mind that if they're going to lose, they might as well just surrender and join their ranks. So what I'm trying to explain here is that they quickly. This started slow, but it became rapid. Became much faster. The impacts of this over a long period of time were felt. And I believe the OMNI-CHAIN going to achieve the same long-term effects. Okay, so X28 has just launched onto base. Now, why? Who cares? Roman Empire, so what? That was something that happened thousands of years ago. I believe that actually, in some respects, it is similar because these crypto projects are a reflection on the price chart of people's belief in them and the people that hold them. Okay. And what I see happening in the long term, I don't believe this is going to be like a short term quick flip. It's going to be something which is felt more in the long term. Ethereum, it's been top 20, even when it's not in top 10. It's been dominating the Ethereum game. Dominating from a volume perspective. It's been absolutely doing crazy. And now we're seeing people building projects on like Titan-X. They're trying to copy the mechanics now, but they're gonna fail. I'll tell you why they'll fail. Because they're just too. They haven't got the first movers advantage. On top of it, even if you build like a clone of Titan-X on top of Titan-X, it's probably a good thing. You're gonna lock away, burn Titan-X. Like no one really cares. We want you here, and you're gonna get rewarded for it. Now, what happens though when we bring that token in the form of X28 onto base? But once we start to pick up on the top 10 of base, what happens from the builder's perspective? Like I said, I'm not talking about tokenomics here. What happens from the builders who are already on base, the community who are already on base, when they start to see X28 take over? What happens? Especially the builders. The builders here is so important. The community expansion we are going to have, which is a reflection, which will reflect onto the price chart, at least according to Metcalfe's law. What happens when those builders want to build projects and bring their communities who are already into their products onto the Titan-X ecosystem? What happens then? That's a question I want you guys to ask yourselves. What happens when a builder on base decides to build on top of X28 on base? And the thing is, if they do research our project and they do research this ecosystem, they're going to see that this is one of the best places to be a builder where you will be rewarded. You don't need to scam people out of their money here. You just need to build something that's good and you're going to make a bunch of money because the community will reward you. That's what we've seen on it's meritocracy. We want that. And the builders want that. Everyone wants that competition because we're all learning. Even if someone builds some great protocol, people will take elements and they're constantly trying to refine these things. Like, go and watch my streams. Watch when I speak to the founders. You can see they like things in other things, and then they're slowly adapting and changing and trying to make it their own and add their own flavor and element into all these different things. And the best part is, guys, when it's built on top of Titan-X, it gains the price appreciation of Titan-X as well. And when the builders realize this, in my opinion, they're gonna come. And when we start getting base builders on top of this place, things are gonna start getting absolutely crazy. So that is honestly my opinion of what's going to happen. I think this is a long-term thing. Don't think it's going to be a short-term thing. But I think this is extremely bullish. This is like I spoke about USDX. We're an L1 within an L1. We can dominate all the L1s. Do you guys see how powerful that is with the last video I made about USDX? And now it's like USDX is step one. OMNI-CHAIN is like step 2, right? We build the L1 here first. We make it proof of concept, making sure it works. And then we expand into other chains, attract the users, attract the builders. And what happens when you have more builders and users? There's this thing called Metcalfe's law. Look it up. Not financial advice, but look it up. I believe it's really important and it has an impact on any crypto project. Anyway, guys, I'll leave you at that. I know my video is a bit later than everyone else today. I've had quite a lot on, so I wasn't able to get it out on time. There's actually take 1 kind of flopped because my audio wasn't on. I did the whole video and my mic was muted, and then I was like, oh no. Anyway, this one I'm pretty sure is the version we're going to post. If you're watching this to the end, I appreciate you. Thank you very much for watching the whole video. Please like, comment, sub. Literally, even if the comment is just a thumbs up or is just, if you got this far in the video, say something silly like monkeys like to eat bananas. If I see people post down the comments, then I know that you watched the whole video. So thank you a lot. Take care.